Hey, what is up, everybody, and everybody who's watching the replay on this? We got a special guest that's going to come out today, but also we wanted to connect with you guys on our Power Times family. Hopefully, everybody's doing good Sunday, and we're rolling into a time where the world is kind of going back to normal, at least where we live. Hey, there's the movie theaters are open now. There's the malls are open now. What else? There's like
The beaches, the parks, the pools. Is the pool open? I don't know.
the swimming pool. They're starting to like we're getting into this phase where everything is starting to open up. But we wanted to come say hi to everybody, kind of connect with our Power Times family. I did a post the other day about I asked what powwow would have you been where would you be this past weekend right now? Friday, today's Sunday. What power would you be at? So Amber Polston, what's up? Antonio Villa says, y'all in Canada? Yes, we are. Angia Johnson, how's it going? Am I the only one on here? Rick, we're also live on Facebook, so we got a lot of viewers already jumping in, and we're going to say hi to everybody. Aaron Squire, you got and who's here? Hello from San Diego, Michael Forsyth. Beautiful people from Texas. I got a question, Matt. Where would you have been this weekend if you were on the Powwow Trail? If there was no COVID going on, what powwow would you be at this weekend? I want to know. I know a lot of people, when we wrote this question, they were saying they would be at Enoch Powwow or White Shield, North Dakota, or Prairie Island. They'd be at all these cool places. And so, like, hey, what's up? Anita Hinojo Wells from Seattle. We got KP, Kevin Paul from Swinomish. Hi from California. All kinds of people. Aaron Squire, you're good. What's up? That's good. Hello from South Texas. Check out Rick. Where's he coming in
Rick,
from?
all the way from the Mojave Desert, California. It's 1:20.
Loretta Harrell from Oregon. And yeah, we wanted to come say hi. We had a great weekend. I don't know if any of you guys watched UFC, but they created Fight Island where they flew out everybody to Abu Dhabi. And I think we need to make a powwow island, hey, a powwow island where we could all kind of gather in a safe way. Walpole Island, Ontario, Canada, what's up? Hello from Seattle, Stephen Atkins, Tyler Thurman, brother in the house, fellow fancy dancer, smoke dancer, all southern dancer, all kinds of good stuff, man. He has some badass footwork as well. Awesome. Good to see you, brother, in the house. Byron Walker, aho, my peoples. Whew.
Selena, Jason took the powwows with him when he left.
Yeah, hey, our late brother here, Jason Goodstrecker. Calgary, Alberta, in the house. Selena, what is up? Good to see you guys. From St. Cloud, Minnesota. So many people coming in. Look, that would all depend on which ante I scored the last powwow. Kidding. Much love, Turtle Island peoples. So he would be following the ante on the powwow trail. Hey, where you going next? Margaret Priscilla, Yosemite, California. You know, I miss California. I'm hoping we can go back. There is rumors that the borders might not be open up for quite a while for travelers, for Canadians to go down, but I'm hoping that it opens up. I'd love to we go to California every year, and it's hopefully a thing that we could do. Lake of the Woods, Ontario. So just doing our little roll call, saying hi to everyone. We got North California in the house. Kevin Paul, Palm Springs. We got Kansas City, Missouri. And what's up, Shane? Shane is our good brother. He's a fancy dancer as well. We're going to have a fancy dance panel today. I'm a fancy dancer. Joe Rogan here is a fancy dancer.
Hmm.
We got Nolan Arcan going to be coming in the house. He's a fancy dancer. We got Daryl Breton Jr. also that might stop by. He's a fancy dancer. So we got a panel. We're going to talk about COVID. We're going to talk about what's keeping us busy. We're going to talk about a little bit of marketing and what's going on in the house. We got a men's fancy special coming up. July 25th, Saturday. We're going to live stream it here on Powell Times and Northern Cree's host drum. We got Hal Eagletail for an MC, and we got women's fancy dance special and a men's fancy dance special. And then with the winners, we're going to battle them off. And they're gonna check it out, see
Who's the top?
who has the fastest feet over here in Alberta.
The fastest quarantine feet.
Zuni, New Mexico. What's up? West Coast. Living in North Carolina. I think it's North Carolina. What's up? We got Ponca Nation, Omaha, Nebraska. I've been there once. Went into the Ponca
Got
Casino there. Marmar Gaming. You guys go check out his page, Marmar Gaming. He talks. He's been spreading culture and indigenous insights through gaming, which is really cool, and it's creating a safe place for people to hang out. So you know your kids don't have to go out partying, or people who are trying to stay sober and things like that could go and check out Marmar Gaming. He'll keep you entertained through. So you could just do a search on Facebook called Marmar Gaming, and also we have some merch coming. Jao is going to show you his sweater. He's going to run and grab his sweater, and he's going to show you kind of the things that you guys could buy. We got merch, Power Times merch. If you guys go to our website, powertimes.ca, and you click on the menu button that says merchandise, get yourself a Power Time shirt, get yourself a Power Time sweater. Mesa, Arizona is in the house. What's up? We got Red. Hope you all are doing well. Shannon, how's it going? Brothers from New Mexico, Cherokee Nation, North Carolina, Norman, Oklahoma. And also, if you guys check out my shirt, it says think indigenous. So if you guys see that, Think Indigenous is a company. If you guys Facebook search Think Indigenous, it'll take you to their Facebook page, and you can message them, and you can get these cool shirts called Think Indigenous. So I wanted to give them a little promotion. Check it out one more time. So it has custom art. I think it might be hanging in the garage, but oh no, there's that Power Times. Yeah, you can bring that. And we'll show you that, but we're gonna love the start. Phillips, what's up? Yosemite, beautiful. We'll have to go and check that out. You can just hold it, bro, and go like this. So check out our Power Time sweaters. It's a beautiful sweater. Keep you, if you ever have a cold summer night, or you just want to represent, right? Grab a Power Times shirt or sweater or things like that. Let me put that in the comments here. So I'll go and get the website address, and you guys could check it out. It'll be on the comments. I'll pin it up, and you guys could grab yourself a Power Times sweater. So when you guys buy something through our website, let me just tell you what happens, right? None of us here are getting rich or wealthy off of it. We are a non-for-profit company, and our whole mandate is connecting people with culture. So we do it right now because of COVID. We're doing it through video, but we also do it through workshops. So we work a lot with youth, and we teach a lot of workshops in terms of beading, in terms of outfit creation, powwow dance style, powwow practice. And we hope to get to a place where we take people to cultural events as well, people who are in need, who are maybe don't have the funds, who are growing up in poverty, or people who in the foster care system, things like that. How could we take these people and take them into ceremonies because they want to connect back with culture? So a lot of this, that's where all of these things go to when you're buying anything off of us. So I'm gonna put the link in the comments. You guys should see it coming up just now, and I'll pin it. Oh, I can't pin it. I have no idea why. So that actually went. I don't know if you guys could see. Oh yeah, there it is. So I'm gonna pin it right here. and you guys could check out that website right now. So I'm gonna bring out my brothers out right now. We got Mr. Nolan Arcan in the house. Why don't you say what's up to everybody? Yeah, yeah, you're on, bro. I can see you. Yeah, we could hear you. Come. um, it's there. Yeah, let me. I don't know if I could. Yeah, I can hear him. Can you? All right, and then let's see. Also here, Daryl, are you in the house, brother? Can I hear you? Hey, what's up, man? You're online. How's it going?
Good. Good. It's going good. Can you hear me?
W- Yeah. Where are you?
I'm in Jasper.
Oh yeah, beautiful, man.
How's my
S-
connection?
it seems pretty good. Yeah. So,
Good.
hey, tell Nolan we could hear him where he's fine.
I can't hear Nolan.
Hey, Daryl. Tell him though that I could hear him.
I can't hear Nolan.
What the heck? Yeah, but can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, you're loud and clear. I can hear you, broski.
Okay. Okay. Tell Nolan that we could hear him and everything's good.
For some reason, I can't hear Nolan.
Hey guys, bear with us. We're just getting everything started here. Hopefully, everyone can hear us good. But people are saying, it's really nice out there. You have a good scene, stage struck. Oh man, I don't think anyone's stage struck. Maybe, hopefully, you guys hear. But Pebble Bird says he can't hear in Saskatoon. Hey, tell me about your hat there. What's the story behind that hat?
So this hat, I actually got this hat in Las Vegas, Nevada, at Grant Cardone's 10x Growth Conference. So if you don't know who Grant Cardone is, Grant Cardone is a well-renowned real estate investor. He has $1.7 billion in real estate asset holdings, and his story is very inspiring. At 25 years old, he went to treatment because he was actually a drug addict. And from 25 years old, when he got out of treatment, he turned his life around and he got into car sales. He bought a course to learn how to be the best car salesman he could possibly be because he was making no sales at all. And he's wondering, why is this guy making 30 sales a month when I'm getting zero? So then he started investing in himself and started buying courses and started learning, started practicing. And from there, he became one of the best car salesmen in the industry. And then other dealerships would actually hire him to come in and teach their sales reps the certain skills that he developed from the course as well as from learning and doing. And then from there, he invested in real estate when he was about 32 years old, I believe. That's when he very first invested in real estate. And his first property was actually a flop. He had, so in the States, you have to worry about bad tenants, toilets, and termites where he's from. And he had
Mm-hmm.
all three of the T's. So his tenants moved out because the toilet stopped working. And then when they was redoing the toilet to fix it, he found out that he actually had termites as well. So after that, he knew that he could create wealth in real estate. He just had to find out a way and figure out a way. And he got mentorship. He bought some real estate courses. And from there, he learned about multifamily and investing in more than one door. So if that one tenant leaves, at least you have two more, or three more, or five more people still paying rent. So that's what the cash flow hat's about, because cash flow, that's what you want in real estate. For example, this real estate behind me, I want to make sure that my mortgage is paid, my taxes are paid, my reserve fund is paid, my insurance is paid, and then on the market rent of this area, as long as I did my due diligence, my property will cash flow, because that's what the good real estate investors do. They invest in properties that cash flow. So that's what this hat's all about. I hope you can hear me, bro. Now
Oh,
I can't hear me.
oh no, no, no.
Okay.
There you go. I had my mic turned off, man. So
Okay.
everything
Okay.
is, yeah, everything is good. But so you took a trip out to Jasper. Show everybody the mountains, kind of how it looks in the background there. Nice. If those of you guys don't know, Jasper is kind of like one of the world's most trafficked place for tourism, especially in Canada. A lot of people come out here to check out the mountains and check out the scenery. But so we're just gonna get Nolan. He's gonna reconnect with everybody. But I wanted to bring Daryl out because he's one of our youth young guys who are really working on himself. And I know there are a lot of youth out there who are struggling mentally, especially with COVID and not being in school. Their whole environment has changed, and they got to figure out basically how to stay positive during that time. And I've been talking with Daryl for a long time, and he's a fancy dancer. You know what? You tell them a little bit of your story, who you are, introduce yourself to everybody here online, and let them know who you are.
Okay. Tanse, Nia, Daryl Britton Jr., Saddle Lake, Cree Nation, Ochinia. So I'm Daryl Britton Jr. I'm from Saddle Lake, Cree Nation. I'm 21 years old, and I've been dancing ever since I could walk, basically, even before I was born. I'm very lucky and blessed to have my mother to teach me all the teachings as well as dancing, because not a lot of people have that or had that. For example, I'll use my mother. She didn't even know she was First Nations until she was 17 years old in high school. She had to learn and find that out for herself. Like, she was obviously native, she looked indigenous, she looked First Nation, but she didn't even know it because my grandma, she didn't grow up learning about herself, about our culture. So my mother, when she was 17 in high school, she learned all about it, connected with an elder in the area, and that elder kind of like adopted her as her own child, her own blood, and that elder taught her everything that she knows, and then my mother passed it on to me. And I'm very thankful and grateful because I wouldn't be very confident speaking if it wasn't for my mother and performing all over Alberta, all over Canada, and traveling all over North America, performing, sharing my culture, sharing my dance style. So that's a little bit about me. I also have two children. I have a 3-year-old son and a 1-year-old son. And if it wasn't for my children, I wouldn't be on this wealth mindset, personal development journey. I was working a 3 week on, 1 week off camp job, like most Albertans do, and a lot of people all over North America do. And it was my son's first birthday coming up, and my father wasn't in my life, and he missed a lot of my birthdays. So I knew that I didn't want to miss my son's birthday, and I wanted to be a part of his life and be a part of his birthdays. So I was booking time off, but they weren't giving me time off. And then when it came to like the week of his birthday, I was like, what do I do? I was talking to my foreman. Okay, how am I getting back to Edmonton? And then he took me to the side, sat me down. He said, you know what, Daryl? Sometimes as men, we have to make sacrifices. And some of those sacrifices are missing birthdays. And at the time, I was super young. I still am young, but I was only 18 turning 19, and then my son was turning 1. And my bills weren't even that expensive. I just had maybe $800 rent, $200 insurance payment, $100 phone payment plus food. So like less than 2 grand a month for bills. And I could work at McDonald's full time or Tim Hortons full time and still pay those bills. And I was on a very good crew, and they taught me that my bills aren't a lot, and I could go and do whatever I want and chase after any dreams or goals that I might have. So that's my story. And I started looking at other ways to make money aside from that 3 week camp job. And I've just been looking, and here I am bumping into real estate. Out of all the things that I've learned, real estate is the one that clicked the most. Real estate is the one that I'm passionate about. I could watch hours upon hours, and it just gets me fired up talking about it. I don't know if you could hear it or feel the energy through the phone. Without further ado, that's my story, and I'm gonna pass it on back to you, Patrick.
No, that's awesome. I just wanted you to introduce yourself to everybody here, and we got Nolan back on. Nolan, say a few words. I want to see if we could hear you, if the audio is good.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know if you can hear me, but
I
I'm
can
back.
hear you.
Oh yeah, right on, man.
Yes,
Can
yes,
you
yes.
introduce
But
yourself
I have to
to
learn. See, like I can hear Daryl. Same thing again.
You want to introduce yourself to everybody here? Let them know who you are and kind of just your short 5 minute story of who you are, where you are, and how you got to where you are right now.
Maybe let's. Oh, hi. Well, I'm having a good time. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Like, I can't hear Patrick, but most definitely, I heard Daryl. Very great story and speech by him. So, with that being said, I'll just take over now. My name is Nolan Arcand. I'm from the Alexander First Nation, Alberta. I am 28 years old. I am a father. I am a business owner, and I am I used to be a fancy dancer. Kind of been a while since I danced, and look forward to actually coming back. I see Daryl and Patty and Jared, all of them having like just the funnest of times. But anyways, just to get into my story, I grew up in the Alexander First Nation, like I said. Uh, Very beautiful place, beautiful people. Everyone knows everybody, and it's. I love my community. I love my home. Um, Growing up, it was the best of times. I grew up in the powwow circle. I don't know if any of you know who I am, recollect, but I used to dance back then, men's fancy, and growing up. Like also me and Patrick too. We kind of adopt each other as brothers back in the day. There's even a time too where we even battled one on one in an Ironman contest, and unfortunately, I I got told as a teen at the time that the teens couldn't compete in the men's, but I jumped in for fun, which resulted us to go in there, and then yeah, Patty won. But either way, Patty would have had me because he was still doing flips and just giving her and just top two left, and that was one of the best times. And I too cherish Heart Lake. I know Patrick really loves that powwow as well, and I wish powwow season was going on because even if I'm not dancing, it's still good to go and watch and stuff like that. I grew up dancing powwow, men's fancy, and in life, I always had ambition and goals to do something too, like that. And with Daryl, he's a good guy. He has this ambition and this drive to to move forward in life, and that's one thing that I really respect about Daryl and Patrick too. The same energy and Jared, all these boys. If you have a chance, listen to these guys. They will tell you everything that they learned. And so, as a young man, I danced pal, like I said, and I started wondering, I want to do more because, by trade, I was a pipe fitter. I got involved in the trades and started you know, same thing as Daryl, going all over the place, working 24 on, 4 days off, technically two because you're 4 days, one's a travel day and one's travel back. So basically, having that being said, it is a lot. Daryl's absolutely right. It's a lot of sacrifices you have to make, and also to respect within the industry. It doesn't seem like there's a lot to it because there's legislations in Canada that determine that only a certain amount of projects can go up with First Nations, with a percentage of First Nations peoples on site. So I was working for a lot of people, and me being a tradesman too, having the knowledge and the experience and the education. I'd be working on these operations and these sites, and there'd be less qualified people than me doing all the heavy lifting, and meanwhile I'm picking butts, or I'm picking up garbage, or hauling stuff. Either way, my mentality is, if you're going to do something, do it professional. you know you got to shovel the poop before you join the circus, I always kind of thought, but I didn't take it to heart. So, and I went to work in British Columbia, and I met a lot of First Nations peoples out there, and they actually gave me the idea of how the industry works, is that um, you take that percentage, and all these people, these corporations, they search out, like I said, for that percentage, to fill that percentage in order for operations to go up. And with that being said, they just take on anyone and just, like I said, let them pick the garbage, let them do whatever. They don't have the mindfulness of everything. So that idea clicked in my head, thinking okay, these projects have to go up. They have to start, and I'm constantly working. And I thought, why not make a First Nations company for First Nations peoples? So instead of like my brothers and stuff or sisters that work in the industry that go working elsewhere, why not have them go direct to a First Nations company that provides that services? Where you're, and my company slogan is proud, professional, and precise, because we're proud First Nations people that do a professional job and precisely to the client and customer's demand. It started back in 2015 and is still in operation. It's been a good ride, and there's ups and downs with every success story. There's ups and downs, and there's times where you feel you want to give up, you want to quit. There's good days and there's bad days, but at the end of the day, you just stay focused. You give yourself a why, set a goal, and set a why. For example, like, why am I doing this? For example, like I said, I'm a proud father. That is my biggest why. When I'm out there busting my ass in -30 weather, I think about my son, I think about my family, I think about you know, the food on his table, the roof over his head, and not only that, like, just being proud, because you got to work hard at what you want in life. You got to be able to be giving. And I see him. Uncle Dougie was actually Dougie Rain. He's my uncle, and he talks about this. And actually, too, he's actually preached this to me in person. That what was it? That in like this in this, you know what I mean? Like that feeling of it. You work, you give your energy, you give your time, and even when it comes down to praying, you pray, and that's how you live. Thisness is what he would say, and that thisness is what you want to take. So here I am, 28 years old, still operating a young entrepreneurial, and it's just something that I'm proud and humble to be doing, because it's a great opportunity just for other people out there to work together and be a good environment where they feel protected and needed, and they feel good about themselves and proud, precise, and professional. So I'm 28 years now, and like I said, it's been a while since I jammed and stuff like that in Dance Fancy. I don't know if anyone has any recollection of me jamming at all, but I plan to be coming back soon when I have time, lose some weight, this quarantine belly, and uh, and I can do backflips. So
Nice. Yeah, right on, man. Uh, so one thing that Nolan talked about that I wanted to kind of bring awareness to is when you're starting something, you need to have that reason why. And there's a really good book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. And when you ever feel stuck, and if you ever feel like unmotivated, you have to go back to your why. You gotta go back and realize, why am I getting up at 5 a.m.? Why am I working so hard? Why am I reading these books? Why am I going to these seminars? Why am I talking to these elders? And a lot of it, for some people, I guess everyone will have a different reason. And I'll just tell you, like, part of Power Times why we're pushing out podcasts. If you go to our YouTube channel, we have close to 7,000 videos published on our YouTube and Facebook. We do it every single day, and now we have language also being posted on our Facebook, is because we want people. A couple reasons why. We want people who are indigenous to have a connection back to their culture, and if we are that bridge, if they're scrolling on Facebook and they know they're indigenous, but they got separated from the culture for some reason. There's a lot of reasons out there: residential schools, boarding schools, foster care, all kinds of things like that. And they come upon a Palatines video and they hear Northern Cree, or they hear Young Spirit, or they hear um, whoever, or they hear the language being taught, and they get sucked in, so to speak, to our page, and they go through the content, and now they're hearing power music, now they're hearing language, now they're hearing teachings, and they're reading our blogs, and we connect them back with culture, and helps them with their identity. It helps them with their self-esteem. It helps them figure out kind of who they are, and we could be that bridge to them. uh, the messages that we get in our Power Times inbox of like how grateful that is makes us want to keep going, and all the people here who are live with us here today. So Daryl, I want to ask you, you know, you're a young ambitious young male. What is your reason why, and is that important to you to figure out, you know, your reason why? So we wanted to kind of bring you out and ask you that here today.
110%, it's important to have your reason why. Can you hear me? Good? All right. It's 110% important to have your reason why, because that's what drives you. That's what's going to motivate you. That's what's going to get you out of bed. That's what's going to keep you pushing when you don't feel like pushing anymore. So if you don't have a why, you better sit down, ask yourself, do some exercises, find out what your why is. So a lot of people, they might say my why is my children or are my children, but you have to kind of get more into depth about that. So my why is to spend more time with my children, as well as be in control of my life and live life on my terms. So that's my why, and that's why I work so hard. And also my children are very, 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 very big driver for me, because I whenever I feel like giving up, whenever I feel like not going anymore, whenever I feel like not progressing or letting go and not continuing down this path, this journey, I ask myself, what am I teaching my children? Am I teaching them it's okay to not try? Am I teaching them that it's okay not to go and chase after your goals and your dreams? So I want to be the role model for my children, as well as other people too in our Indigenous community. That's the number one driving factor, is I want to have this wealth and this success, so that can be my credibility. That could be my certification. Like, hey, we should listen to what Daryl has to say. He has a couple million in the bank, so he might know a thing or two, and we should pay attention to him. We should listen to the words that he has to say. We should listen to the teachings that he's trying to teach us about mindset. And that's one thing that I'm going to be doing with my real estate income, is I'm going to be traveling to different reserves on my own dollar, on my own time, and I'm going to have free workshops, free webinars, free courses for the members on each of the reserves across Canada and even across North America when I get that big. And it's one similar thing that all fields and all walks of life have. So whether you're a singer, whether you're a dancer, whether you're a basketball player, whether you're a hockey player, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a businessman, whether you're an investor, it doesn't matter. All the successful people have one thing in common, and it's their mindset. And that's what I want to teach our people, because with their mindset, then they can be able to go out and achieve whatever they want to achieve. It's all about perspective. Like, am I viewing the world like this, or am I viewing the world like this? Am I viewing the world negatively, or am I viewing the world positively? Like, it's all about your mindset and working on yourself. And also another thing too, you have to constantly feed your mind. Think of your mind as a fireplace, as a wood stove. That fire is going to burn out if you don't put wood in it. So my mindset is going to burn out. My determination and my drive and my ambition for my goals and achieving everything that I want to achieve is going to burn out if I don't constantly feed my mind. So minimum, I at least listen to 20 minutes, like a 20-minute podcast, read for 20 minutes, something to help my mind and keep me motivated and keep me focused. So I hope that answers your question about what's my why and what keeps me going.
Wrong camera
No,
angle. Sorry, guys. Daryl talked a lot about mindset, and I love how that, because if you guys were tuned in with our podcast with Tommy Christian, he talked about how a lot of our indigenous healing has to come within, and we have to look within ourselves to kind of change our outside. And the way I tell people that is our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. And a lot of times when I was struggling back in the day, um, with family, with health, with relationships, with finances. I realized that I had a belief set that was passed down through experiences, through the friends that I hung out with. I didn't really hang out with a good crowd sometimes, and the books I read, the television shows, everything that I was consuming helped shape my outer world that I experienced. And once I figured out that my mindset played a huge part in my reality, I started to read a lot. And a lot of people, you can take whatever path you want. You can go an elder route where you just spend time with elders. You could spend time with mentors. You could listen to audiobooks. You could watch good programs to feed your mind good mentally. For me at the time with my family, when I first had our son Leland, I didn't have mentors. I didn't have elders to go hang out with. So the first thing that I thought I could do was read. And I started reading a lot of books, and my mind started to shift. And when everything shifted, my whole life shifted, and we were able to do a lot of good things. And sometimes I got to pinch myself, but there's some books that I've read that absolutely changed my life, like Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins. Um, Atomic Habits by James Clearly, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. There's so many books. If you ever came to my house, you would see a library full of books. So I hopefully get to put that out there. And then I like what Tommy Christian said in our last podcast was, indigenous people, we don't get rich. I know there are a lot of people out there who are wealthy, but in our ways, we like to give. So if we ever reach like a certain, if abundance comes to us, we like to give. And the one thing that Powell has taught me was to always give back to the circle. So there's our family and myself, we held specials and we gave money away, and prize money and blankets and tobacco and all kinds of things to give back, and to realize that when we're experiencing abundance, to keep helping other people and to raise them up as well, and do our best. But I want to talk to Nolan about mindset, because that's what Daryl kind of brought up. And how has mindset helped you as a young indigenous man, by the way you think and what you feed yourself? How has that shaped your life in your world? I know you started business and you've done very well for yourself. How has mindset played a part in that?
So with mindset, that's great thing. Like Patrick always gave back and stuff like that. Like he was even a very humble champion dancer, even Daryl too. I'll just throw that out there to begin with. But with the mindset, like what Daryl said was pretty good too. But like what you do with for mindset, keep yourself motivated. Like I said, you got to have that willingness to fail. You got to understand that right out of the gate that some days are not going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes and bad times will happen. Those kind of three things. I always like to acknowledge the bad days. And you know what? If you actually think about it, it's more easier to remember the bad days opposed to the good days. And the reason why I say that is because the bad times happen, and have it not been for those bad times that occurred, you wouldn't know what you had in the tank to get through those bad times. So that's why we remember those bad times more than the good times, is because like we get so lost, we get so everything. So when there's bad times and stuff like that, I like to acknowledge that and think, okay, what lesson am I learning now? Why is this happening? Or just be optimistic. Always stay optimistic. Um, my uncle Dougie Rain's brother, Donnie Rain, once told me too, everyone has the strength within them to get through no matter what is coming. So with the mind is how I stay motivated and everything like that too, is just stay optimistic. Count your blessings that you have. You woke up to see another day. You are able to walk. You're able to breathe, and you pray for those ones that can't, and you work for them. You keep them in the back of your mind, no matter what you do, and always do things in a good way and present yourself with the greatest character that you can. Because if you don't, you're not taking yourself seriously, then no one will take you seriously. You have to really push yourself and present yourself and work on yourself and be good to yourself and honor yourself. You see what I'm getting at? This flow of mindset, you know what I mean? Just staying motivated and understanding that you cannot climb the ladder of success with your hands inside the pockets. And that was said by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and great guy too. And so with that being said, just your why is back to that again. Understanding why you're busting your ass. Understanding, don't do things for the fame, the attention, the rich, the money. That's all material things, because you can't take that to the grave. Do it because you want a good, successful life and be happy and be a good father, mother, son, daughter, uncle, auntie, grandmother, grandfather, friend. That's what it's about, because our time is borrowed here. And that's what keeps me in check too, is that our time is borrowed and we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So be better than the person you were yesterday and stay true to your goals, because if you left tomorrow, you got to ask yourself, would you be happy with what you've come with so far? And that's just kind of my theories and stuff like that, Patrick. So, yeah.
Wicked,
More
brother.
coffee.
Wicked.
So I had a quick question for Daryl. So I noticed that Nolan said a lot about failures and failing forward. So I was just wondering, Daryl, how do you get through all your hard times, your hardships in life, stuff like that?
That's a good question. I would say being optimistic really helps in seeing the world and like seeing the cup as half full, not half empty. And again, like mindset, like positive mindset, like it's okay. I'm one step closer. Also reading, like going back to like constantly feeding your mind, like reading. I was reading this one book by Dean Graziosi. It's called The Millionaire Success Habits. And in the book, he was talking about success tax. So those failures, those setbacks, he programmed in his mind that this is the success tax, and God the creator is testing me. Do I really deserve this? Am I going to keep pushing, or am I going to give up? So the failures are actually, I know that I'm actually getting closer whenever I do fail. So I look at it in a positive way, even though not a lot of people do. That's just how I feel and what I've learned about failures. I also wanted to mention, going back to the first previous question, I forgot to add, there's this one story. So their parents, there's two sons. Their parents are, say, alcoholics. The one son is going to use that as an excuse. Oh, I was an alcoholic, or I'm an alcoholic because my mother and father were. But then meanwhile, the other son is going to be sober and living that sober, healthy lifestyle because he realizes, I do not want to be like my mother and father, alcoholics. So it's totally compared to like what I said before, like how do you see and view the world? So those two brothers, they had different perspectives on how they viewed their upbringing, and they use that, and that's where they are in life right now. So one ended up being an alcoholic and says, I am one because my parents were, and I came from a family that was. And the other was like, I am not an alcoholic because I came from an alcoholic family. So it's all about, like, honestly, like if you don't work on your mind, then and you don't put in the time and the effort, I would say the number one thing is just working on yourself, focusing on yourself. I hope that answers your question about the failures and what I do to keep moving forward.
No, beautifully. Quickly, want to do a quick shout out to Chrissy, Meow Maswista. Wow. Thank you for the stars. Facebook has this new program called Stars, and what that does, it allows you to support your favorite creators on Facebook. If you went to like Marmar Gaming, you're able to send stars. If you went to Tanya Jo Hall on her comedy page, you're able to send stars. So it's a cool way to support your favorite Facebook pages or your creators or artists or gamers. So thank you, Chrissy, for that. It's a new feature that we got approved for Palo Time. So if any of you guys feel like getting us a coffee for all the videos that we're posting every single day for you guys. I think it's 250 stars. Buys us a cup of coffee, Tim Hortons coffee. So thank you so much, Chrissy. We really appreciate that. We also have your CD that you won on the last podcast being sent to you. Now back to the show. Daryl talked about perspectives, and a lot of times things happen in your life where it's sometimes it's pretty easy to look at it in a negative way. And I like what Les Brown says. He says you either win or you learn, and so it's not losing, it's learning. So everything that you go through could be a learning experience. And for me, my biggest teacher has been my wife and our relationship, and realizing that when we were young, arguing was kind of something that was normal. And we kind of go back and forth and this like that. And then you realize, by changing your perspective, for me anyway, that maybe it's my communication that is not right, or maybe I'm not understanding what she's telling me. Maybe I'm not loving her in her love language. And it allowed me to basically look at myself and take responsibility to be like, what could I do to become a better person for her? And that perspective has helped me throughout my life to always see things. I'm a the cup is half full kind of person, and that's my perspective. So I want to ask Nolan here about kind of his perspective on life. What is your perspective on life, on relationships, on business, and what are those philosophies that helped you out with your perspective throughout life that you could leave for everybody here today? So I'm going to bring you on and ask you that question. Here we go, brother.
All right, so perspective. All right, so acknowledgement. So with that, nothing is perfect. Like I said, you're gonna have hardships no matter relationship you have, whether it's your husband, your wife, your best friend, your family member. You're gonna have go through a lot in life. And with that being said, is like I said, you acknowledge those bad days is because, and like I said, we all remember the bad times, is because we didn't think we would make it out, and we didn't think that we would have the energy or the strength to get out of it, and that's why it's so hard. And we did get out of it, and the grass is greener on the other side. So with that being said, just staying focused and being a good person. Nobody is better than anybody. Like that's just that's how it goes. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is the best. You know what I mean? Everyone is even. You can't put yourself above anything or anyone. Uh, there's like even the insects, the bugs, like the birds, the animals. You give honor with that, like that. And once again, going back, that thisness, just maintaining and staying focused and just making sure that you just be a good man or woman the best you can. There's nothing really you can do, because there's accept or don't accept. There's things that are in your control and out of your control. It's all up to you how you want to go about it. And just to kind of touch base with Daryl, what he was talking about, he talked about addiction stuff. I myself used to be very heavy into addictions as well, like alcohol and stuff like that. My perspective is, I did kind of play pity me and poor me. Like it was a bad time and my poor life and trauma. Like I didn't have, like suffered some trauma through my life and everything like that. But I just didn't, I just stopped, because my motivation was just myself, my family, my son, and just looking back, like, I can either sit there and have nothing and feel sorry for myself, or get myself out of it and do something. Everyone has that mindset, and you don't blame your addictions on this or that and stuff. It's totally up to you. You have that strength, that thisness, that spirit of yours. It craves to succeed and be happy. That's our only goal in this life, is just to be happy and live and not take this life for granted. Because if you were to go tomorrow and looking back how far you've come, would you be satisfied? That's just my theory. So the point is, don't be scared to fail. Don't be scared to not try, and don't be scared to do, because you never know where it'll bring you. And everyone has the drive in themselves, and you can do anything. I believe anyone can do anything. Just my perspective, really quick. When I was starting the business, a lot of people laughed at me. A lot of people made fun of me, like, like, oh, you're gonna start your business now, like, oh, there's Nolan, Mr. Businessman. People used to make fun of me. And I'm not even gonna lie, it hurt my feelings. It kind of doubted me. There's even role models of people I looked up to that steered me away because of that, and just tell me don't do that. It's that it seems like that's where we all struggle as First Nations people. We have that crab in the bucket, pull one's trying to get out, we all pull each other down. And we need to get out of that mindset. We only be happy for each other. So back to the story. I began to work hard, push myself, invest, and I didn't have no, $1 million loan from a family member or a bank or a nation or anything. It was out of my own pocket. I would work and strive my best to do what I can to invest in this, invest into the business myself, and strive to succeed. And I'm very humble today that where it's at and where I'm at in life. I'm a proud owner of a business. I'm a proud father, and I'm proud to be alive, and I'm proud to be speaking with you. So that's my theory there, Patty. More coffee.
Wickedness, wickedness.
So I was just thinking about what you said about how all people are kind of the same and we're all equal. So I was just wondering, as as young Native men, all of us are young Native and fancy dancers at that. We often have this competition mindset, like with because naturally back in the day, we did have competition a long time ago. Like it was there, the kind of hierarchy of people. Like you could see someone else's tent would have a lot of horses and stuff, another family, and that's just kind of how we are, just a naturally competitive people. But I was just wondering, Daryl, uh, in your time as like when you're working on yourself, has there been a time when you've kind of noticed yourself being more more like competitive, and you kind of had to step back and be like, okay, whoa, and then you gotta be a little bit more like you know,
I
humble.
think it's talking about kind of competition versus humbleness.
Yeah,
Kind of where do you put a balance in that
balance.
for yourself? So we'll bring you out with that question, brother.
Good question. Great question. So, competition, humbleness, balance. It's honestly, once you find your rhythm. So, I'll use the tide for example, like in the ocean. So you're chasing the tide, but like the tide's going out, and then now like the tide is gonna come back in, and like it's gonna like bite you. So like if you're too like in your head and you think you're better than everyone else and all that stuff, you'll get humbled quickly. And if you just live a humble life and attitude and mindset, if you just live humbly, then it will nothing will bite you. Nothing, creator won't like drop his hammer on you, because you're not being so full of yourself. You're living humbly. You're humble on the power trail. You're humble in your workspace. You're humble in your home. You're humble in public. Like you just live that humble life, the good red road. So for me, I growing up and going to powwows and competition and all that good stuff, I was taught to be humble, and I was brought up with a humble upbringing only because I didn't have the best of the best regalia when I first started, and I barely made it to all these different powwows when I was first starting off in juniors and teens. And then from there, I kind of started working myself up, adding more to my regalia, getting more beadwork to my regalia, and getting my own vehicle, so I'm able to travel and all that good stuff. And then as soon as I'm always, since I've been humbled, I'm I'm always constantly living in that humble state, if that makes sense. So even when the powwow they're announcing the winners, and say there's like 5 people and there's 4 places, I'll still I'll tie up my trailer, I'll load up my trailer, and I'll start driving out. Like, it was a good powwow. I enjoyed myself. I had an awesome time with my family and friends. I made more memories. I got to dance to the drum and fulfill, and my spirit is fulfilled. And then when I'm listening on the radio, they might say my name in 4th place or 3rd place or 2nd or 1st place. So, like, constantly living in that humble state, just because you never know when it can come back and bite you. So that's what I do, and that's what I learned, like, with my upbringing, because I wasn't always placing, I wasn't always traveling all over, I wasn't always having the nicest regalia. So kind of bring my upbringing taught me to, like, always kind of be in that humble state. So I hope that answers your question. But
Yeah,
before you
brother,
cut me
that was
off,
awesome.
can I?
Thank you.
Good
Hi,
answer.
hi.
A couple of things that I also wanted to bring up before we get on to the next part was brother Nolan brought up kind of responsibility and blame and lateral violence, and that when things go on in your life and you know that life happens, everybody has their story, everybody has things that they have to go through. They lose people, this is a life and death, is part of our lives. Bad things happen, good things happen, all based on your perspective. And he talked a lot about responsibility and blame, to that part where, okay, yeah, this is happening, this happened, now what could I do about it? What do I do from right here with what where I'm at with what I got? How could I move forward? And Doug Rain, when we were on it, we had him on the podcast a few podcasts back. He talked about losing his family, and he lost his wife and his baby and his dog, all within that a short period of time. And he said he didn't want to be a miserable man, and he figured out, okay, and he made a decision and responsibility that he was gonna still live his life happy and choose to be happy, to make that choice to be happy, which I thought was really cool. And lateral violence, of how when we're trying to succeed and we're doing things, how our own people are pulling us back and they're trying to pull us down, and they're like, no, we don't want you to succeed, you know what, because you'll leave us, and you'll think you're better than us. We have this, it's weird because we have these fears of failure, but we also have fears of success, because we don't want people to look at us differently if we become successful. And we get that lateral violence. And it's funny, the people who are succeeding that I know, the messages that they get in the inbox, oh, you think you're better than us, or like blah blah blah, we felt, and it pulls someone's energy down. And you realize real quickly who you surround yourself with is really important. That the people you surround yourself with, are they bringing you up? Are they pushing you to your goals, or are they pulling you down, or are they discouraging you? How important is that to you, Nolan, to surround yourself with good people who are positively pushing you towards your goals, who saying, yes, you could do that? Because I once read that for one negative statement saying you can't do that, you need about 17 people to 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 say yes you can, just to get that mental out of that way, so you could still stay on your path. Nolan, how do you do that for yourself, surrounding yourself with good people who are always pushing you for the goals that you want in life?
So with that being said, very good touch and briefing stuff, and you're absolutely right. It's about surrounding yourself with positive people and the people with their vibes, you know what I mean, that are flowing the same energy as you. You know, that's why I'm happy and I take pride in calling you my brother. You know, that's why we adopt each other's brothers, because coming up in the power circuit, you know, you were always supportive. You were always there to like, you know, pick me up when I was down, or you know what I mean, and like you always, not just inside the power circle, but in life, brother. Like there was times where, you know, when I was down, I called you. You like, you know, give me advice and stuff like that, and we always had each other's backs, and that's the type of things that you need in life. You know, the world isn't a perfect place. You have those people that will bring you down. They will shut you out, and they will tell you you can't. And sometimes it's hit and miss because they'll say that out of love. And yes, I can understand. They're scared that you will fail too. You know, the the star is a far reach, but you know, you got to try and get as best as you can. So with that being said, you just stay focused and try and surround yourself with people who have that flourished idea of success. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be attention or fame or whatever. It's just about having that positive energy. And I have a story, and this involves Patrick and James Jones, and Mar. When Paul Van Powell, Patrick, we're at the Powell, and it was kind of, we were just thinking about the night. We're talking about, you used to preach this Super Saiyan mode. You would say, let's go Super Saiyan. You know how Dragon Ball Z, for those that don't know, you know, Goku, he shifts to these different like sort of element peoples, like the blonde hair and the blue hair and the red hair. That's stepping up. And that's what Patrick described as saying that's how you got to go to the next level. So we were deciding, you know, let's go. We're at Paul Van Powell, and it was supper time. And Patrick always loves to swim. Every Powell we find the nearest like to go swimming. Anyways, that being said, me, James, and Patty and Patty's family, we all went to the lake in Waldman. And I remember we got out there, we just wanted to refresh and get our vibes going because they weren't the best. We're thinking about how to approach this Sunday night final of dancing tonight. You know, we're trying to hype each other up, getting ready for it. But we just couldn't really contract that energy, you know what I mean? So we went to the Waldman Lake, went swimming during supper break. And then I remember just going out there and just swimming and swimming and swimming. And then like suddenly I hear like Patrick yelling at the shoreline and stuff like that. And then you know there was this eagle flying around like right above me and stuff like that. And it was really low. And this eagle comes and it just like not even a splash, just dives in the water, not even a splash, just a thump. That's it. And I was a little panicked. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, "Whoa, where is it? Like, where'd it go? Like, it's gonna get me." And next, you know, like on the other side of me, so it swooshed on one side of me, and came out the other, and this big splash, and it had a fish. And then like all of us were just cheering and stuff like that, and we all went into that final. We had that energy. It finally just stuck. You know what I mean? So, and we went and we rocked it, and we had fun. We jammed. We were laughing and having good times, and with that being said, that's the kind of energy that you pray for that energy. That's one thing I do to just kind of avoid all of the conflicts and the negativities, is just praying to, you know, creator or God or Buddha, whoever you pray to. Pray is the best thing to do, is just to get answers and ask for guidance and strength, because you could share your goals and dreams to everyone, but everyone might not agree. The only person that can agree and do anything about it is you and yourself. You have the ability, and if you have the ambition, you can do whatever you want to do. So, like myself, I've never had even a beaded outfit ever, you know, in my life. And, you know, there was a lot of people that would shut me out. Like, you know, a lot of people would, like, who I thought were like, you know, I'd watch these dancers on YouTube and have the ability and time to actually jam with them at powwows. And I tell them, like, you know, like, I like your style, I like who you are, like you're so dope. I can't, like, I'm fanboying, like just fangirl, like, oh my god, you know what I mean? Like, you know, 16-year-old girl face sleeve to the face. But you know, they would actually, some of them actually were like straight up say, like, you need to get some beadwork, bro. Like, I just had cloth all the time. Even to this day, I've only had cloth. And, I've never owned, the only thing I owned beaded was just my cuffs, my headband, and my belt. That was it. But that's all I needed, because I'm not in there for the show. And that's what I mean. It's not for the attention. It's not for the show. It's not for money. It's just for yourself. I don't need beaded stuff. I don't need the fanciest things. That's how you get that positive stuff, is by enjoying the simple things. Like I said, there's a lot in this world. Our galaxy is just a speck of what's out there. Our sun is like a micro speck, and our Earth is a super speck. Us on this planet tend to think that we're bigger than all that, if you kind of think about it. If we perished tomorrow, all of us, if the insects, the bugs, the birds, they won't need us. The earth will flourish without us. And that's what I mean. That's how you got to be. Because if we go as humans, the plants will grow, a tree will grow through this very house I'm sitting in. Everything will flourish. And that's the perspective that I keep in my mind, is that we rotate around the sun. The sun doesn't rotate around us. You think of who you are as an individual in this world. Not saying think of yourself lower. I'm saying think of yourself as just a being here, because you can't have that. Like, so I said, we damage stuff. We build buildings here. We do that there. So metaphorically speaking, we have people trying to knock us down here. We have people trying to tear us down over there. But if we block them out, and if they left, just like all of nature and animals, they will flourish without us. So that's the stuff I keep in the back of my mind. Or coffee.
Oh man, that was some beautiful stuff.
Awesome.
Sometimes that we could forget that we are just an energy within this whole vast, of everything that's going on, the stars, the earth, the planets, that we're just this energy. And that talk about being a super saiyan, that's an awesome memory. I almost forgot of it. Thanks for bringing it back to me. But that super saiyan energy, I feel like there's let's say these sides, this side and this side of energy, and this one side, and it goes back to the two wolves story, right? This one side represents everything: love, passion, joy, happiness, and caring. And then this other side is all your worries and struggles and hate and pain and anger. And these two wolves are in us, and they're fighting. And the one that wins is the one that we feed the most. And it brings me back to that kind of story of how we're all connected as well. I'm connected to all the people who are watching this video right now, and I'm connected to the moon, to the stars, everything. We're all this oneness. And I think that goes back to that isness, that thisness that he was talking about, how it's just, we can go into it as a lot of things. But Joe Rogan has a question about what Nolan said, and we're gonna bring that back to Daryl here.
So yeah, I really love what you said there, Nolan. It's really powerful stuff. I noticed that I like what Les Brown says. You have to practice OQP, only quality people. And one of the things I found was when I moved away from my home reserve to here with Patrick in Sylvan Lake to help him out with the Power Times stuff, I noticed that the people in my reserve, even though they were my own family members, they had a very limited mindset. And it can come from your own loved ones. Like, they can bring you down, and that's the people who could probably hurt you the most. And I was just wondering, Daryl, what are some ways people can get away from the people that are very limited in their mindset, even though they're your loved ones? But how can someone like distance themselves from that?
Your sound is a little quiet.
How about now?
There you go.
Good?
Perfect.
Okay. So, going back to family, and if they have limiting beliefs and they're kind of like holding you back and stuff like that, I got this from Grant Cardone in a podcast, and he basically said, don't take advice from someone that's not living the lifestyle that you want, or their bank account isn't the type of bank account that you want, or they don't drive the type of car that you want, or their fulfillment, like their happiness, if they're not glowing like you want to glow, if they're not happy and fulfilled like you want to be happy and fulfilled, don't take their advice. Don't listen to their advice. So maybe your uncle's like, yeah, right, sure, okay, Daryl, as if you're gonna have thousands of properties, you're gonna have thousands of units, and they're all gonna cash flow at least minimum $200 a pop, $200 times 1,000. Oh, that's every month because people gotta pay rent every month. That's crazy. That's absurd. You'll never be able to do that. Are you kidding me? Go to school. Go get a little degree or diploma or something like that. That's my uncle. And then I'll take a look at my uncle. Okay. Um, you're living paycheck to paycheck, and you're not very fulfilled. You're stressed out. You the way that you walk and live your life, you're not happy. You're not truly happy. So therefore, you're my uncle. You're my family member, and I appreciate you and I appreciate your words. But I understand that that's not what I want. And I understand that there's more than one way to skin a cat. Like, in all honesty, all the conferences, all the courses, all the masterminds that I've been to, like, I'm solid now. Like, my mind, I'm solid. You could say whatever you want to me. I'm going this way. I'm going this way. I'm going to keep going up. You could say whatever you want to me, but I'm going to keep going up. I'm going to keep pushing myself. And so I hope that answers your question about, like, what can you do in that aspect. So that's what I learned from Grant Cardone is there's gonna be, like Nolan said, crabs in the bucket and lateral violence and stuff like that. But you just have to take a step back. Like, okay, I can't control what other people say. I can't control what other people think. I can't control what other people how they react or act. But I can control what I say. I can control how I think. I can control how I act. So how am I going to react to that person? Am I gonna waste my time? Like, obviously, it's not worth it wasting my time and being down and out and getting down on myself because of what my uncle said. Like, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna respect my uncle. Thanks for your words. Thanks for your wisdom. But I'm gonna keep going this way. We're not on the same path. We're not on the same mindset. We're not on the same journey. So I hope that answers your question, and I hope that helps a lot of people that are watching this podcast right now, because maybe you're experiencing something like that in your life right now. And the question that you asked Nolan about, like, your circle of influence, it's extremely important. They say that you become who you surround yourself with, and that's 110% true. So I'm constantly listening to podcasts. I'm not hanging out with Grant Cardone. He's not in the seat next to me, but he's constantly in my mind. He's like talking to me. He's talking to me. And when he's interviewing Ed Milet, another successful entrepreneur, and he actually has a #1 podcast for business and entrepreneurship, when they're interviewing each other and they're talking and they're cracking jokes, I'm in my truck, I'm driving, and I'm laughing. I'm laughing, and it's like I'm there with them as they're doing this podcast and I'm listening to them. Same thing with books. That person has like 35 years of, say, sales experience, and they all wrote that down in that book. So now I have this book. Now I have this book, and I can read this book and I can go through it. And now I just read Tom Tom Hopkins' How to Master the Art of Selling. So I just read every down and up that he went through on his real estate journey when he was selling homes. And I learned what didn't work. I learned what worked for him. And then I learned what language to use. Instead of contract, use agreement. Instead of payment, use investment. And just using different jargon and different knowledge that don't really trigger the people that you're trying to do business with. So I hope that answers your question about, like, what would I do if a family member that has a limiting belief and they're talking to me and they're trying to bring me down or keep me grounded. That's what I've done. I just realized Okay, thanks, uncle. Thanks for your words. I appreciate it. You care about me. You love me. You just want me to have a stable job, and you don't want me to um, chase and go after my goals and dreams because there could be the chance of them not being achieved. So thank you for looking out for me. But I'm gonna continue to go this way. I appreciate you, but I'm going this way still. So I hope that helps you and answers your question as well as helps the viewers that are watching today. And circle of influence, very, 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 very important. So, for example, I am starting part time at a financial firm, and I can already see my own life, like my own wallet. So, for example, like if I want my income to go up, if I'm hanging out with a guy that's making 500K a year, and say I'm making like 40K a year, 30K, 50K a year, if I hang out with this guy enough, I'll eventually pick up his habits. I'll pick up his habits. I'll learn what he does. What is he doing in his life differently? We all go through the same 24 hours. We all go through night and day. We all go through summer, winter, fall. We all go through hardships. We all lose loved ones. We all go through life and like death and birth. So why is this guy like up here making 500K? Why is he making a million? Why is he making a million a month? That's crazy. And eventually, like as I'm hanging out with these guys, I'll slowly see my income rising too with that. So your circle of influence is very, 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 very important, very powerful. And there is still some people that I love, and I don't necessarily keep them close to me. I'll still visit them. But then I realize that my time is so important. And even though I'm only 21 years old, it's like, damn, like I only have maybe like, I don't know, maybe 80 if I make it to 100. I only have X amount of days left. I have to live my life to the fullest. Did I lay my one brick down today? So when I look back 10 years from now, 30 years from now, I have this huge brick wall that I built because habits are very important and habits compound over time. One story from Jim Rohn. He's a multi-millionaire in the network marketing business, multi-level marketing. He's no longer here on this earth, but he has a lot of books and content out there and so on the internet. So he was talking about a farmer. So a farmer hops in his tractor. He grabs onto the steering wheel. He drives down his crop, his field. And then that's what he does. He goes on the next track, comes back again, does that. So he does that every day, every day, every day. Now there's ruts where the tractor wheels are going. So if he hops in his tractor one day and he turns the wheel 1 inch, 1 inch, he might not move off the ruts right away, but maybe halfway through the field or halfway down the crop, he'll start getting off from the ruts that he created going again and again and again just by making that one little habit, that one little shift. Maybe you switch out your Netflix and you watch some podcasts or some courses, some self-education. Maybe instead of scrolling on Facebook for 30 an hour, maybe you have a book that you're reading, or maybe you have flashcards because you just read a book and you want to remember it. So when you're sitting down on the toilet, you have flashcards. Okay, selling. Okay, use this word instead of this word. Okay, network marketing or online advertising. Okay, click funnels. Okay, search engine optimization. What is that? Like flip it and learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it, repeat it, and just kind of like switching little things out of your normal day that will help you later on in life. So, reading for 10 minutes a day, working out 30 minutes a day, practicing gratitude every day, and just doing little things every day, compounded over time, you'll look back and you'll be like, wow, I can't believe my life is the way it is because I've only been on this journey since August last year and it's like completely changed.
Wicked, brother. Good stuff. If you like anything that you guys are hearing right now, give us a like, give us a share, a comment, a care button, and share with your friends.
Or share some stars if you want.
Send some stars, support your creators. But one thing I want to bring up about what Daryl was saying, he talked about Jim Rohn, one of my mentors that helped me change my life. And one thing that he said, in 5 years, you're going to arrive, and where you arrive is up to you. And he said, we're all on this little sailboat, and we have this sale. And it's not what happens to you that makes you who you are, but it's what you do with what happens. So if you want things to become better, then you have to become better. If you want things to change, then you have to change. And the way you do that is by learning how to set a better sale. And how do you do that, right? One is by working on yourself, and by surrounding yourself with OQP, like Jiao said, only quality people, removing the toxic people out of your life and bringing in some more people that are in a position that you want to be at. And then when you're around those people, like Daryl said, you start to take on their habits. And he started talking about habits. One of my favorite books is Atomic Habits by James Clearly. And you realize your body is where you're at from your eating habits and your workout habits, and your bank account is where it's at because of your financial habits. Your relationship is where it's at because of your love habits, and your relationship with your kids is where you're at from your habit as a father or as a mother. So I want to bring that back to Nolan and ask him, what are some habits that you have in your life that have drastically helped you in a positive way that you could share with everybody here?
So when it comes to like habits of that, things I've changed around, like I said, in my past, I wasn't the perfect a person, you know what I mean? I drank a lot. I messed around. There's old saying, you piss in the wind and eventually you piss on yourself. Sorry for my derogative term and stuff like that. But, that's, and that eventually I end up peeing on myself. I, I played poor me. I was lost a lot. And what really changed that for me, in my perspective, was just, you got to stop feeling sorry for yourself as an individual, because I get it. Things happen. We feel upset. We get depressed. We feel down. And it's hard to pick yourself back up. So you just, like I said, have that ability to believe in yourself that, you know what, this time is brief. And there was an old saying, it's a hard time, not a hard life. You know what I mean? And that's just part of the journey of life. We all have things that happen in various shapes and ways. And Daryl busted out a lot of and Patty, I know these guys are, investors and stuff like that. I've dabbled in investing myself like that. So I want to use this as a metaphor. For these people who don't know it, it's kind of like just a crayon drawing, but it's a graph. This is a stock graph. So I want you to metaphor this as life. You know what I mean? If things go up, things go down. Things go up. And a good stock market tip: when the stocks are going down, you buy more. So when you're feeling down, you're feeling depressed in life, let's say, something bad is going to happen. Your relationship's going bad. You got into a fight with your family or friends and stuff like that. When things go down, you feel like you can't, buy more, they would say. When stocks go down, buy more. So let's use that as a term where buy more for yourself, not necessarily, but build yourself, buy happiness, metaphorically speaking. Create your happiness. Know that this is just a hard time. Work on yourself. Hit the gym. I got kind of really big. I'm still big right now, but I was bigger not long ago. I was feeling sorry for myself. I was like, oh, poor me. Like, just this whole COVID thing knocked a lot off, and my plans and my goals and my travels and stuff. So I was feeling down. So I started praying. I started working out the gym, you know what I mean? And working out at home, going for runs. During this time too, making up with friends and family that I haven't seen in a while because I was always too busy, you know what I mean? And you just keep going because eventually things go up. So when they talk about stocks and talk about investments, that Daryl was saying, I just want to add on to that life in general, think of it like, you don't have to think of it if you don't understand it, but metaphorically speaking, use that. When stocks are down, buy more. And what helps me is I pray. I do ceremonial and stuff like that. It helps. Just pray. Even you don't have to go to a sweat. You don't have to go to a powwow or Sundance, etc., etc. You can pray like this. Just on your bedside. Just give a smoke or anyway. Everyone has different ways of praying, and it's about staying true. And with that being said, don't doubt yourself. It's hard to see the light in a rough time. But if you look through past that and around it, there's this rule I like to follow: KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You know what I mean? We have something will happen. We'll look at it a million different ways. Think like, oh my God, like what do we do? What do I do? Like, just keep it simple. Stare at it. Think, can I control it or can I not? Will I accept it? Will I not? So, with that being said, just keep it simple. Keep an understanding. Be grateful because yes, there's success, and we talked about the crab bucket metaphor, and people try to knock you down, tear you down. The only person you have to prove yourself to be better than is the person you were yesterday. You just have to maintain the ability and strength and mindset and know that you're going to fail, but it doesn't make you a failure because that you'll only learn from that. And if you're not making mistakes, you're not learning. You have to make mistakes, and you can't tackle the ladder of success with your hands in the pocket. So, with that being said, thank you.
Awesome.
Awesome. So, with that being said, believing in yourself is such a tough thing to do, right? Especially when you come from the reserve and you don't really have that support, that moral support of from other people. And nowadays in social media, it's even harder because of you know, all the likes and all the things that we base our worth on. So uh, this thing he was talking about, the red and the green, you know, kind of like how stocks, they have the red and the green numbers, and the green days are when you lift yourself up just a little bit, because and the red days are when you put yourself down, right? You're judging yourself, you're doubting yourself, you're doing all this self doubt. And the green days are when you're just happy and you're doing little things. So I know that I see that Daryl kind of cut out there. So I'm just gonna swing it back to Nolan here. Um, what are some little habits that you? Oh, there he is.
Let him hear it first here. All right, Daryl, this question's for you. So
All right, I'm gonna go to Daryl. So Daryl, in your life, believing in yourself is such an important thing. What are some little habits that people can start doing in order for them to start believing in themselves more in their daily life?
Can you hear me? Does it sound good?
sounds good, brother. Right on.
Okay. So that is an excellent question. What are some habits that people can start doing to believe in themselves more? Like I said before, feeding your mind like a fireplace. Constantly feeding your mind, constantly learning, constantly growing. Because if you don't do that, then you're not going to be able to push yourself. You're not going to believe in yourself as much. So when you constantly feed yourself with that stuff, when you get a clearer idea, a clearer vision of where you want to go, and you know what you need to do, you know where you want to go, you know what you need to do, you know exactly, like you reverse engineered your goals when you wrote them down, believing in yourself and taking small little steps. So for example, uh in World Financial Group, as a financial firm that I work at part-time, is like, can I do this? Can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. Like, this is a whole nother field. Like, I'm not sure. And then boom, bada bing, just being coachable and doing the little things. Like, for example, reaching out to somebody. Hey, I just started work at a financial firm part-time. It would really mean a lot to me if you could come take a look at what I'm doing. And if you like the information, maybe send some people my way for business. And that's all it is. It's just kind of reaching out and going out of your comfort zone. And another thing too, like on this journey, like going to all these different conferences and reading all these different books and all these different podcasts that I've listened to, it really, really, really like sharpened my mind. And that's how I like believe in myself, because since it sharpened my mind so much, I take action and I understand that learning is doing. Like, yeah, you can learn, study, write some notes, but if you don't actually go out there and take action, if I don't go out there and approach somebody, if I don't go out there and prospect somebody, if I don't go out there and invite somebody, then all that learning was kind of for nothing if I don't take action. Like, yeah, it's in my mind. Yeah, I know about it. I know what to say. I kind of know how to interact with that person, but I never did it in reality, in real life. So taking action is a big thing, a big one, because not a lot of people can. There's a lot of fear, like going back to failure. A lot of people are afraid to fail. But then feeding your mind, listening to all those podcasts, all those books, you'll realize, damn, Grant Cardone, he failed hundreds of times. Damn, Dean Graziosi, he failed hundreds of times. Damn, Tony Robbins, he failed hundreds of times. Okay, well, if they failed hundreds of times and they are where they are today, then if this person rejects me that I'm inviting to the presentation, to this open house, then that's okay. That's okay because they failed hundreds of times. So it's okay if this one person rejects me and I failed this one time inviting. So that's okay. And I kind of just like compare like that. And it's like, at least I'm taking the steps. At least I'm taking the steps in the right direction. And therefore, when I take the steps and I set little goals. So, for example, I want to invite 5 people to the presentation. So I text them, I call them, I send voice messages to them. I'll send maybe 40. And then out of the 40, I'll at least get 5. And it's kind of all a numbers game. So then from my 5, when I accomplish that goal, it's like, damn, I can do this. I believe in myself. I did it once. I did it before. I can do it again. So constantly feeding yourself, feeding your mind, working on yourself, that helps me believe in myself. And I hope that helps the viewers. Like, just constantly feed yourself with positive information and take action.
Right on.
Awesome stuff.
Um, so he talked a little bit about belief, and I want to just add on that. So I belief is one of my main things that I love for myself, and I realize that nothing happens in my life without belief. And I took a course on belief, and I read about it, and I have a bunch of books. And if you were to write like a cross, basically a cross, you have a piece of paper, you write a cross like that. On the top left hand corner, write belief, and then the other corner, the right hand corner, write potential, and then the bottom right, you write action, then results. And all of this kind of rotates in a circle. And your belief level, let's say you want to do something, however how much you believe, you're going to tap into that much potential. And if you tap into that much potential, is going to determine what type of action you take, and that type of action you take is going to determine your results. So if you have little to no belief, you're not going to take too much of your potential, and you're not going to take too much action, which is going to get you lackluster results. But if you can get to a place of certainty, like if I'm going to do this and I'm certain that it's going to succeed, your belief level is high. So when your belief level is high, you're going to tap into a higher potential of yourself. And then when you tap into a higher potential of yourself, you're going to take a more effort, a firm of action. And when you take in a bigger action, you're going to get a bigger result. So there's 2 ways to actually improve your belief level. And one is results in advance. So being able to meditate about and visualize yourself doing what it is that you want to be doing. So if you want to be a public speaker, maybe you visualize yourself on stage speaking to a big crowd, right? So you're getting results in advance by visualization. And I used to do this, and I still do this a lot when I dance powwow, is I visualize myself already dancing my contest hundreds and hundreds of times before I even go out there and dance. I'm thinking of dancing and what I'm doing with downbeat moves, and how I'm going to do this transition and how I'm going to end the song, is to visualize in advance. And the second way to increase your belief level is practicing in private. So let's say you do want to be a public speaker, so then you practice in front of a mirror, or you practice in front of your family, or in a private room, and you're picturing the crowd there and you're speaking, right? You're practicing in private. Those 2 things will help you increase your belief set, so you could take on more potential, more action, and more results. But action is such a hard thing to do, and I want to bring that back to Nolan here. Is Actually, Nolan cut out, so maybe I'll bring it back to Daryl. How do you take action on something that you're unsure about whether or not it's going to work or failure? Oh no, Nolan came back. So bro, I'm going to bring him back to him real quick. So Nolan, how do you take action on something that you're unsure if it's going to be a success or a failure? What do you do to get yourself out of the comfort zone to have that ability to take action?
So right out of the gate, just agreeing with you with that, you're absolutely right. You cannot make, you can't wait for success. You have to make your own. No one's going to do it for you, and you're absolutely right. I too, like when you're getting out there, you watch and observe the videos of yourself dancing, and you get out there, and it's nerve wracking. You walk into, you have this, and like kind of this image of walking out into a light filled powwow arena with hundreds of people in the bleachers, on the ground, sit on their chairs, and you got to dance. Or you walk into a building and you got to speak to everyone, even just talking right now. The belief system is just realize your ability and your strengths. Everyone has the ability and strengths to do what they want to do. Everyone has the mindset and goals, the mindset to reach their potential, to get to their goals. It's just about yourself and your own ambitions. So one things that I practice, like for example, aside from the business, I'm a father. I'm a business. I'm a partner. I'm a lot of things in a day. I'm a son, etc. I took my shot at doing comedy. I've done this video where I took a contract working in my nation doing res security. And I saw this potential, like, I've always wanted to do comedy. I wanted to always dabble into it, but never got the time. So I thought I would partake in doing a comedy skit of me doing security stuff. You know what I mean? Like, the video contains me just doing miscellaneous things, like squatting a road close sign, flashing my flashlight, and just doing random stuff. And I was worried, like, what would occur of that. I thought of, people are just going to make fun of me. People are going to say stuff, but it actually came out really good, and the belief in yourself to do whatever. So now, like, I made videos with the Oilers. It was sad when NHL's going back, but I'm happy it's coming back. But I was walking around, made this Oiler video. And there's a lot of things, and believing yourself, and a lot of people love that. So it's believing in yourself of what art you want to form and take pride in, whether it's Daryl with his investments and growing higher, whether it's Patrick succeeding in the powwow, whether it's Jared with his powwow or his powwow times, whatever, anything anyone wants to do, myself included. You all got to push yourself and believe and not overanalyze it and not wait for anybody. You have to do it yourself. Like I said, you can't sit and wait for success. You have to go out and get it yourself. And it all starts with you on your path and your journey. Patty, more coffee.
That's some wicked advice.
Yeah.
Some things though that I want to say to kind of add to that. I really believe in manifestation. I really believe in law of attraction. I believe in energies, and I believe in goal setting and working hard, kind of putting that all together, and that every single day is like a clean slate, and that you have to do what you could within that day to develop those habits to live a good life. Habits spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, every area. And it could be tough. It could be tiring. And when you're working out every day, when you're trying to eat healthy, when you're maintaining a house and you're paying bills, and you're a husband or a wife, and you're a father and you're a brother, and you're doing all these things, it could really start draining you and you have to look into motivation. And we talked about the reason why, the reason why you're doing things kind of brings you back up, and it gives you that energy to keep going. So I want to say this real quick, boys. What is one final thing you want to leave with everybody here watching? We've been on for about an hour and 40 minutes, kind of closing in on that 2 hour mark. So I want to thank everyone for staying with us this long. So I don't want to keep you for too long. So I want to ask the boys kind of one main thing you want to leave with everybody. So I'm going to give you the whole stage here, and I'm going to bring it to Daryl first. We said a lot of things. I think we covered a lot of things about success. When I was young, I was living in poverty. My my dad left when I was 4 years old. My mom left shortly afterward. I was on my own when I was 16, and kind of hung around some shady characters and found myself struggling with my family. And then it wasn't until I started working on myself that things started to change. Started a business, made my first $100,000, changed my whole relationship around, and then just quickly started stacking up and growing from there. Boys, what is some advice for you that you want to leave with everybody that helped change your life, that you want to leave with everybody here?
So one thing that I want to leave with everybody is don't stop learning. Don't stop growing. Constantly be learning, constantly be growing. So for example, like I said, a year ago in August, that's when I started using my time wisely. That's when I remember I purchased YouTube Premium, then I downloaded a lot of YouTube videos because you can watch it without Wi-Fi. So when I was at work security, I just watched all these videos, how to save money, and then all those videos, they're like, the money that you save, invest 10%, invest 20%, invest 30%, whatever those videos said. And then it's like invest, and when they're talking about investing, I saw like stocks, bonds, businesses, entrepreneurship, real estate. I saw real estate so many times. Then I started watching videos about real estate. So just like constantly be learning, constantly be growing, and just keep leveling up. Like just try to be your best self. So for example, I'm in no competition with Patrick, with Jarrett, with Nolan. I'm in a competition with myself. So when I am on my deathbed, creator's not like, hey, look, this is the person that you could have been, but then instead this is the person that you are. So the person that I want to meet when I'm on my deathbed is the person that I want to be leaving Mother Earth. So like I want to constantly be growing, constantly want to be leveling up. So I'm excited to see where my life is 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, 60 years from now. I'm excited because I have this growth mindset, and I know that I'm going to make a huge impact for our indigenous community because I want to be that role model. I want to be that hope. If I can do it, you can do it. And I have children. I have bills. I I have everything that these people that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s might have. So it's just a matter of doing. And I want to be that role model. I want to be that hope. So if I can do it, you can do it. And that's my one thing. Constantly be learning, constantly be growing. Thank you guys.
Right on, brother. Stay on real quick. Don't go off. We'll kind of talk in the back office. So we're gonna bring that question back to Nolan Arcan here, and you could tell kind of one thing here that you would love to leave for everybody here on today with us.
I would say to hell with circumstances, create opportunities. If you love life, don't waste time because that's what life is made up of. And those are from Bruce Lee himself, the man, the legend, and he has great philosophies. And also, too, just enjoy the simple things in life. Be blessed. Count your blessings. You woke up today. You were able to walk outside your house. You're able to breathe the fresh air. You're able to witness the sun go up and down, and you're able to see your family, your friends. Enjoy the simple things. You don't need material and status to feel good about yourself because the way I look at it is I am proud of the man I was yesterday, and I'm proud of the man I am today, and I'll be proud of the man I am tomorrow. And I'd like to do another quote from my late brother that actually passed away, Tony Ashley. He always used to say, "Nothing gold can stay." and I never really wrapped my head around that. And he always said, "Nothing gold can stay," meaning life will occur and things will come and life will go, but just enjoy the gold that's with you today. So, with that, believe in yourself and enjoy the little things and just be better than the person you were yesterday. Hype.
Wicked, brother. Make sure you stay on after so we could talk in the back office here. But I'm gonna ask Jao here as well. What's some? We had a great, awesome, positive, motivational podcast today. We didn't actually have this podcast plan on where it would go. It just kind of headed that way. But I'm glad it did, and I hopefully it's helping people out. Jao, what are some things you might want to leave with everybody here before we sign off?
One thing I wanted to leave to the young people out there is accepting who you are and also accepting success. So growing up, I didn't have a lot, much like Patrick. I grew up in poverty. I lost my mom when I was 11 years old, and my dad at 18 years old. So I struggled a lot growing up with bullies and belief in myself. And it wasn't until recently that I start to really accept who I am as a person and all my flaws. And I'm starting to understand now that people are not really gonna accept you fully. They're always gonna say this. They're always gonna say that. Oh, you need to do this. You need to do that. But if you learn to accept yourself fully and learn to love yourself and welcome your own self into your life, then that goes on to our next thing is accepting success. So with this struggle with my self esteem, uh, I didn't I didn't see myself being successful, and I still have troubles with that. But being successful is in that is a fear as well, because you fear like you fear being ridiculed, like being ridiculed by your family. Oh, you're too good for me now, kind of thing. But being okay with being successful, that's okay as well, and being yourself. So I just want to leave that with everyone. Just accept yourself and also accept success. That's it.
Awesome, brother. Thank you for being vulnerable and opening up, for telling your a little bit of your story, your belly button story. They say, kind of where you came from. One thing I want to just leave for everybody is one thing that I struggled with is once you reach a level of success, maybe something that you never thought you'd be able to do. You traveled somewhere to different places you never thought you'd been able to travel to. You earned money that you never thought you would earn. You met people that you never thought you would meet. Um, is comes back to what Tommy Christian said to us when we were on the podcast the other night: is don't forget where you came from. There's this capitalistic world that we live in where we want to get materials and we want the nice house and we want the nice car and we want all this, but to not forget your roots. And they say "Neheo mamte nichiga na bachita" means your indigenous way of thinking. I even have the shirt, it says "Think Indigenous." And for me, I didn't grow up really cultural as much as I wanted to, but to be able to have this balance of success in this, I guess I would say, a white man's world, and then to have this balance of you're still going to ceremonies, you're still learning your language, you're still learning your ways of wherever you come from because that's part of you, and to never lose sight of that. And for us, it's been a journey for wanting to learn our language again, and to learn why we, just the power of our ceremonies, and to be dancing and love to be dancing. And for me, I didn't want to be in an office, I didn't want to be in a job, I didn't want to be in a where I had a boss, but I wanted to be around my indigenous culture. And that's a big thing why I'm so grateful why we have Powwow Times, is because every single day we get to be around our culture, and we're promoting indigenous artists now, and we're learning our language, we're promoting language. Our blog is all indigenous, our podcasts are indigenous, the clothes we wear is indigenous. Everything that we do on the site, on our website. Everything we do is indigenous. Our workshops working with kids is indigenous. We were building teepees, we're scraping hides, we're gonna be hunting here shortly and living off the land. Like everything that we do is indigenous, and I love our people so much. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being a part of a podcast and always supporting us, sharing our videos, liking our stuff. It really means a lot to us. So want to say thank you guys so much for being a part of this episode. Look forward to this coming up week. We got some really cool people that are going to be coming on this week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We've been on for about an hour and 50 minutes, 2 hours. So if you've been on that whole time, I love you guys so much. And then we'll talk soon. Here we go.